Thank you so much, Jose. Obviously, and I think over the last 4 years, we've seen just that process of taking, sometimes from the customer to the hostess and then the hostess to the rep. But by far and away, the most reps that we ever get come from being a hostess. And there's so much that can be learned from that three-step system. So we appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us all the way from Ontario. It's great to have you with us today. Now we are just going to go over to a little bit closer place for us, somebody a little bit closer from Wiggins, Colorado, Double Zaya executive, Carly Brown.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to Base Camp. I am so excited that I get the opportunity to chat with you today. For those of you who do not know me, I am Carly Brown. I am a Double Zaya executive, and I've been with Zaya for just over 2.5 years. I'm also a mama to Willow, who is a 4-year-old that's always in my stories taking over. I am a wife to Roger, who is my biggest supporter and cheerleader, and I also work 30 hours a week at an office job. But by the end of this year, I will no longer have to fulfill that role because of all that Zaya is doing for our family. Today, I'm excited to talk with you about proper onboarding and how you can set your new reps up for success from the very beginning. My business partner, Amy, and I launched a new onboarding system at the beginning of last year, and both of our businesses saw significant growth and duplication within that year. And we attribute much of that success to this onboarding system that we have in place. Having an onboarding system in place empowers your team to become independent quickly. This empowers them to also see wins early on, which builds their confidence and belief. This also allows you to keep working your business. I know that many leaders struggle with the balance of running your own business and supporting your team. And having systems in place like this one will really help with managing that balance. So, if you're taking notes, I'm going to be discussing 3 key elements to a successful onboarding system. These 3 keys are: number 1, keep it simple. Number 2, provide tools and resources. And number 3, be their coach. Let's dive in and start with keeping it simple. Our onboarding system consists of 4 main parts. We have a welcome email, a checklist, an onboarding call, and then a tools and resources section. So, number 1, it's so important to keep this simple. We had an onboarding system before we launched this one, and it was just too much. It was too overwhelming. We were trying to teach too much, and that just didn't really work, and it paralyzed people from even jumping in because we were just giving them too much information. So very, very important to just keep it very simple and focus on what they actually need to know now. Have a checklist. Tell them specifically what to do. Don't just rattle off a bunch of things. Give them a checklist to where they have a guide. If they have 10 minutes or 20 minutes in a day, they can go to that checklist and they can start checking things off. Keep that checklist action-oriented. Some things that we include on our checklist are customize your rep website, set up your shopping link, redeem your gift card, and a lot of things around their launch party, because their launch party is where it all begins. We want to get them launched and going right away. So once you've given them the checklist, it's action-oriented, you're telling them specifically what to do, we need to give them the tools and resources to complete those tasks. So a lot of what we do is not just common sense. People can't just look at it and go do it. They need a resource to help them do it. So for tools and resources, you can do this many different ways. You can do this in Facebook units. You can do this on a website. What we prefer to use is Trello. Trello is an online system. It's just a website, but it also is an app. What I love about it is it is free. So we do not have to pay for this service. Everyone on our team has access to it. They can access it from their phone, from their computer, from their tablet. It's very easy to organize information in and very easy to access. So that's why we use Trello. You're also going to want to show them this resource. We do this as part of our onboarding call, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you want to show them that resource and help them navigate through it so that when they have a question, they know where they can go. Some examples of what we provide within Trello are graphics for launch party. We have a launch party outline. We have training videos. So a lot of the training videos that are in the back office, we have located them here just so that everything we have to offer them for tools and resources is in one place. So you could kind of include anything you want there, but mainly it should tie directly to your checklist. Whatever you're having them do on their checklist, you should have a tool or resource to help them complete that task. Number 3, be their coach. So as leaders, it is our job and our responsibility to be their coach, to help support them and cheer them on, be available. So number 1, be available for them and let them know that you're available. I always like to tell my new reps, there is no silly question. You can contact me with anything. I am here to help you succeed. I want you to succeed, and there are going to be questions that come up. So let me help you with those. When they do ask questions, instead of just giving them the answer right away, I think it's really important to teach them where they can find that answer. Again, helping them to be more independent and build confidence and self-sufficiency, and also helping you to be able to still run the rest of your business. So I always like to teach them where the answers to their questions are, refer them back to resources, and help them find that answer. Another thing I like to do with new reps is check in with them on a weekly basis, at least for the first 30 days. Just check in with them, see if they have any questions. A lot of times they're still a little bit nervous to ask you questions, but if you reach out and say, hey, just checking in, do you have any questions? Can I help you with anything? They're gonna be more likely to send you those questions. So that's really helpful. Help them with their launch. So like I mentioned before, part of our resources are a Facebook party outline. I always offer to do the live for them for their launch party. So whatever they need help with in their launch, be there to support them and help them. And then also help them get their first few wins, help them get their first sales, help them with their first rep, and let them know that you are watching their stats. Check in on them and tell them, hey, I see you got your first sale. That's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. Let them know that they are doing a good job. Let them know that they're right where they're meant to be and that you believe in them. All right, so now I want to give you a quick overview of a little bit more detail of what our onboarding system entails. So when someone enrolls with us, within 8 hours, we send them a welcome email. That welcome email includes the attachment of our new rep checklist. So we have our new rep checklist here. It's 1 page front and back. These are the tasks that I was talking about, and then we have some other key points on there, but they are getting that from us within the first 8 hours. Within 24 hours, we add them to the Facebook groups and we introduce them on the team page. So we get their intro video, we get that posted. And in regards to Facebook groups, we like to keep this really simple. So we only add them to our own personal team page, and then we add them to the Zaya marketing page because that is just such a wealth of knowledge and great graphics and lots of really good information. But we really limit it to those two. Not because the other pages don't add value, but because it gets a little overwhelming when you're brand new and you're getting introduced to all these new things. So what I like to do is I'm on some other pages and I just filter that down through our team page so that nobody's missing out on anything and it's just in one place for them. Within 48 hours, we conduct the onboarding call. And this is a vital step in our onboarding process. Number 1, you really want to have it within 48 hours. They've just enrolled, they're excited, you're excited, build on that momentum, get them on the phone and start planning their launch party. So we do our onboarding call via Zoom. 2 reasons. Number 1, it's just a lot more personable. It's much nicer to see someone's beautiful face than just be on a phone call with them. And number 2, this enables us to share our screen and walk them through that resource system. So as part of our onboarding call, we are going through this checklist with them and we are showing them in Trello where they can access the tools. So we aren't going through click this, do this. We're not doing these action items with them on Zoom. We are talking about each one and we are showing them on screen where they can find the resource that is going to help them complete that task. That is a huge piece of our onboarding call. The other thing we do on our onboarding call is focus heavily on their launch party. So right then and there on that call, we are determining a launch date and a launch time. On our checklist, we have within 2 weeks to have that launch party. I really like to do it within the first week. Again, the excitement is there, build off of that momentum and get them going right away. So we talk a lot about their launch party. We determine the date and time. I always offer to do the live for them, and usually they take me up on that. I show them exactly where that Facebook party outline is. We have what we call a procedure guide, which is a step-by-step sheet on how to set up a Facebook group so that they can do that. So right away, they're jumping into that. They're setting up their group. They're inviting. They're announcing their business. And you've agreed on a launch date. Once we have conducted the onboarding call and they're prepping for their launch, we have their launch, and then within 72 hours of their launch party, we have another discussion. And sometimes this is another Zoom, sometimes it's a quick phone call, and sometimes it's just messaging back and forth via Messenger. But the purpose of this 72 hours after their launch party is to talk to them about the follow-up process. How do they follow up with people who are in their party? How do they follow up with their new customers? How do they ask people to host? How do they ask people to rep and talk about the business opportunity? After their launch and all that excitement, it is very, very important to teach them what are their next steps. What do they do next to continue building their business? So this is when we talk about the follow-up process and how to move forward with their business. So these are just some examples of what we use and how we have simplified our onboarding system. If you're interested in our checklist, we're happy to share that with you. You can just shoot me a message on Instagram and I'll send it right over. But I just want you to remember, having a good onboarding system will empower your team, develop leaders, and provide you with time freedom. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day and enjoy Basecamp.